So Kai wasn't able. The judge had banned cameras from the courtroom. So this is a camera footage, by the way, from another trial. That's actually video footage. Now, but as far as the judge, that's the same judge though, which is Robert Kurse. He banned cameras from the courtroom for Kai though. The only pictures that people can get of Kai are like what looks like LG phones, like they're really crappy pictures. I mean, like you can barely see Kai. There's only like, three. I don't even know how many photos. It's like probably like just 3 photos, and that's pretty much it. But do you see that picture right in the very back? There's like that. I don't know who that is, but it's just like a picture right there behind Kai. Now you'll notice that there's that same picture, but it's for another trial. But you'll notice in that trial, there's actually a moving camera where you can actually hear what's going on in the courtroom. So let's take a look at that.
You, without being afraid. You brought pain so deep in my life that I never knew one can feel. You deserve an execution.
As you can see, the same picture. So this person that was allowed to have cameras in there so that people can hear what's going on in the courtroom. This person is a New Jersey man. He robbed and raped motel couples at gunpoint. Okay? So he was able to have a camera be shown on his face to show what is going on in the courtroom. And Kai allegedly was raped. He was allegedly raped. But somehow or some way, I don't know what the reason is, but the judge banned cameras in there for Kai. So it's like, I mean, there's cameras in there for people, but then the question is, why wasn't there a camera in there for Kai? I will say that there was an article that was written in, her name is Sophie Nieto Munez, who basically cherry-picked what Kai said in the courtroom. She took one sentence that Kai said, which completely, just reading that one sentence, it completely is a completely other different meaning. But when you actually have the whole paragraph of what Kai said, it's completely different. Okay? So what happened is that there's journalists in there. They can say whatever they want. They'll take like one sentence and then they'll add something else to, have the narrative exactly what they want to have, versus people making their own, decision based on what they're watching. So my question is that fair? I mean, we don't know or not if the judge was biased, but I don't know. What do y'all think of that? What do y'all think? Because, like, Kai, he wanted those cameras in there because he felt like he was not given a fair justice, and he wanted people to see what is going on in there, just in case. And, we don't know. We don't know what went on in that courtroom. I mean, the only thing we're hearing now is from what journalists say, and one of the journalists, her name is Sophie Nieto Munez, she cherry-picked what Kai had said completely, which, like, when you just read that one sentence, it changes the whole context of everything. So then people are reading these things, whatever she wrote in her article, and we have to, like, literally wrap our head around is what she's saying, like, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of cherry picking, and it's really hard to make out really what went on in the courtroom. Now they're going to be doing their sentencing, and that's happening in June. But the thing is, like, we're not, as far as the transcripts, that's not available to us right now. So they're already going to start, doing the sentencing, and the transcripts are not available to us right now, so we can see and read what the hell went on in that courtroom. So I will say, based on the article that Sophie Nieto Munez wrote, so I mean, I don't know what to think, because there was some cherry-picked comments, and she left a lot of other things out that Kai said. and then like when you just read that part, it's really hard to make out like what, you know. I will say I read one thing in the article, and this was published about John Cito, which was Kai's public defender, or the person that was, I don't know if he's a public, they call him a pool, I don't know what he is. I don't know. He represented Kai. But I'm just going to say that I saw something that John Cito said, according to the article that was published, that had me fuming. And I was so upset, and I was like, that's so bad. You know, and I was like thinking, like, if I was a jury and I didn't, like, know Kai or anything, and then, Kai, he only got 1 day, like literally 1 day to plead his case. And think about it, the prosecutors had 6 years and an additional 6 days to the jury. So they've had 6 years of Kai being in isolation majority of the time, and Kai only gets 1 day, and not only that, within that span of that 1 day, it says, according to the article, that there was outburst that Kai had to do. So then the question is, why did Kai have to keep doing outbursts? And this was, and this has to do with the attorney. You know what I mean? As far as like, there's not a cohesiveness. It appears, I could be wrong, but it appears that there's not a cohesiveness between him and his lawyer. So then, even in that 1 day, he's literally not even being able to be cohesive with him and his lawyer. And we don't have the footage. We don't have what the hell went on in the courtroom. And then we have these people, out online making their little statements and saying, oh, and they're just saying whatever the hell they want. And they're judging Kai based on articles that are literally taking one sentence and taking out a whole rest of what Kai had said, which completely, again, changes the whole context. Like, if you read the full thing that Kai said, you're like, oh, wow, Kai, that was powerful. But when you just read the one sentence, you're just like, what? It leaves you confused. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to say, from my perspective, it looks like very much that the journalists are, biased. And the way they're describing Kai, they keep just trying to describe Kai like, saying like, oh, he's eccentric and he's weird. And they were talking about some really stupid things. Anyway, they were talking about his hair and his clothes and just stupid shit like that, So anyway, I just think it's really it's just really freaking messed up. I mean, there's a picture of John Cito. This is as far as it shows John Cito right there, and there's Kai. Okay, so Kai's like sitting on on the stand, but John Cito, there's a video of him talking and showing John Cito, and that's in the same courtroom, but the video is of a whole other trial. But that trial that he allowed the cameras to be in the courtroom was somebody that was accused of robbing and raping a motel couple at gunpoint. But Kai, on the flip side, saying allegedly that he was raped, and I believe Kai, like 120%, that he doesn't receive that open press to where people can actually look to see what really happened. So then what happens then? There's on the internet now, not only does that not look like a fair trial, I mean, come on, 1 freaking day, and even in that 1 day, there's not a cohesiveness between him and his lawyer. And then to have people outside of that not see really what went on and make judgments and sit there and make fun of Kai or try to say just really stupid shit. So